She found herself lying on a deserted island, not knowing the next 9 days would be both scary and unforgettable. Welcome to Movie Mix Recap. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more exciting videos. After their boat is capsized by a sudden and violent storm, Jenn Remming washes ashore on a seemingly deserted tropical island. Drenched, shaken, and disoriented, Jenn tries to collect herself while scanning the shoreline for other survivors. Not long after, she finds her injured friend Brad lying in the sand, gravely wounded. She does everything she can to help him, but his injuries are too severe. Brad eventually succumbs to his wounds and dies, leaving Jenn completely alone. In the following hours, Jenn explores the island, searching for supplies, shelter, and perhaps a way to signal for help. While wandering through the forested area, she stumbles upon the remnants of an old camp, sun-faded belongings scattered around, half-buried bones, and several simple graves marked with stones and sticks. The eerie signs suggest that a family or group once lived, or at least died, on this island. This unsettling discovery hints at something darker hiding within the paradise-like landscape. Jenn buries Brad in the sand, hoping to give him a proper rest, but the next morning, she finds the grave disturbed, the sand torn open, and Brad's body missing. A trail of blood and drag marks lead directly to the ocean, suggesting that something from the sea came and took his corpse. The realization sends a chill down Jenn's spine. She's not just alone, she's being watched. Later that day, Jenn notices a suitcase from the wreck has floated to shore. She swims out to retrieve it and finds more supplies. But during the dive, she discovers something strange, a wide, dark hole in the seabed, unnaturally deep and ominously still. The hole feels like the lair of something ancient, and she quickly returns to shore. As night falls, Jenn hears unnatural sounds, growling and splashing, coming from the jungle and ocean. She tries to flag down a passing airplane using a flare gun she found in the luggage, but the flare goes unnoticed. Just then, something emerges from the dark waters. A towering, humanoid sea monster with translucent, slimy skin, gills, and claws stalks the shoreline under the cover of night. Jenn manages to hide and survive the encounter, spending the next several nights constructing hidden shelters and makeshift weapons while avoiding the creature. She moves her sleeping area high into the trees using vines and a hammock, hoping the elevated height will keep her safe. On the fourth night, Jenn is more prepared. She keeps watch from her treetop hammock, clenching a sharpened stick. When the creature returns, it approaches the hammock, curious. Its webbed fingers touch the edges of the cloth, and slowly the makeshift bed begins to drop. With no other choice, Jenn strikes, stabbing the monster and causing it to retreat with a wounded roar. The following morning, something even more horrifying occurs. Another body washes up on shore. It's Zach, a mutual friend from the boat, but his corpse is mutilated and horrifyingly bisected at the waist. Jenn, desperate to understand what she's dealing with, uses his body as bait. When the monster returns, she watches closely, getting her first clear look at its full form. It's not just a predator, it's intelligent, aware, and seemingly territorial. It feeds at night and drags its prey into the sea. As Jenn prepares for another night of survival, her fragile sense of solitude is broken when a life raft drifts to the shore. In it are her boyfriend Lucas Griffin and their friend Mia Reed. Initially relieved, Jenn quickly realizes things won't be so simple. She warns them about the monster, but they dismiss her fears as hysteria. To them, Jenn's claims seem delusional, just a reaction to isolation and stress. Jenn tries to convince them to use the raft and escape before nightfall, but Lucas becomes increasingly aggressive and gaslights her, accusing her of paranoia. Her alarm grows when she notices Lucas's pocket knife is bloodstained, and when she questions him about Zach, Lucas becomes defensive. Eventually, Jenn tries to take the raft herself and escape without them, but Lucas and Mia catch up to her, drag her back to shore, and knock her unconscious with a paddle after a violent struggle. When she regains consciousness, Jenn finds herself tied up. Mia, shaken and defensive, accuses Jenn of past lies and manipulations. Jenn tries to explain what's happening, warning Mia that night is falling and the creature will come. Lucas returns and remains cold, hinting darkly that he knows more than he's letting on about Zach's death. The suggestion that Lucas may have harmed Zach, or at least left him for dead, hangs in the air, As the sun sets, chaos erupts. The sea monster attacks again, this time storming the camp violently. Mia is dragged screaming into the darkness, and Lucas, despite trying to fight the beast, fails to save her. Jenn manages to break free of her bindings and intervenes just in time to pull Lucas away from the water, narrowly saving his life. The next day, with no other option, Jenn and Lucas board the raft, determined to escape. As they paddle into open waters, Jenn notices the raft is soaked with old, dried blood, likely Zach's. Before they can get far, the sea monster breaches the water and attacks. It rips through the raft from underneath and grabs Jenn, pulling her down toward the abyssal black hole on the ocean floor. In a panic, Jenn stabs the creature with Lucas's pocket knife. It lets go, momentarily stunned. But instead of fleeing, the monster redirects its rage at Lucas. It swims upward and drags him into the depths, killing him. Jenn, exhausted and now the last survivor, floats back to shore. Realizing that there's no escaping this thing, Jenn makes a choice. She decides to stop running and prepares to face the monster head-on. She writes in a journal she salvaged from the wreckage, documenting everything she's learned about the creature and the island. She hopes that, if she fails, her account might help another castaway survive. Jenn sets a trap using bones and sharpened sticks, surrounding the area with dry grass and wood soaked in oil. That night, she lures the creature in and sets the circle ablaze, forcing it into a brutal confrontation. The firelight reveals the full grotesqueness of the sea monster. It's scarred, massive, and terrifying. But Jenn fights with everything she has. She stabs it repeatedly with bones from the old graves, using every ounce of strength and rage she has left. Both are grievously wounded, but the monster won't stop. It chases Jenn to the beach, bleeding heavily. Just as it lunges at her one last time, it collapses. Jenn, shaking and bloodied, seizes the moment. She grabs a sharp bone and decapitates the creature, ending the nightmare.
If you enjoyed this video, please do well to like, subscribe, and comment on what movies you want us to review for you. Also, turn on the notification bell icon so you don't miss any of our videos. Thanks, and see you in the next video.